Thank you, Maha, my dear friend, for your wonderful introduction. As a new mom, I know you are not alone in struggling to make it here today. Work, childcare, accessibility, cost. I know it isn't easy. So I want to thank everyone for making the effort to be here so we can create a better California. California is a state overwhelmingly run by Democrats. We are the leaders of the resistance to Trump, but we are also the state with the highest number and percentage of poor people and homeless individuals in the country. If Democrats can't protect and grow the middle class in the richest state and the richest country on earth, what good are we? I'm running for governor of California because this country runs on other people's children, and we are failing too many of them. 90% of my generation, the baby boomers, ended up doing better financially than our parents. But the millennials only have a 50-50 chance of doing better than their parents, despite being the best educated generation in history. The high costs of childcare, housing, healthcare, and education, coupled with the decline in jobs that pay a living wage, are crushing our families. You need a visionary governor with a brass backbone who isn't afraid of bullies and will not kowtow to the rich and powerful. That is who I am, and that is what I've always done, and that is what I will do as your governor. I know the decline of the middle class is directly tied to the decline of the labor movement in our country. When I was a kid, 30% of the country was unionized, and the middle class thrived. Now labor is down to 10%, and if the Janus case is passed, we will lower it even further. The future of the middle class depends on giving more power to labor, and I promise you as governor, I will not just say this to your face, I will say it in corporate boardrooms. I am not afraid to take on the greed that has hurt the middle class, be it through falling wages or rising costs. As governor, I will not compromise with the insurance or pharmaceutical companies when it comes to your health. I will fight to create universal single-payer health care for all Californians. As governor, I will ban fracking, and I was the first candidate to come out to do that 18 months ago. Because polluters, every resident of this state should have the right to a fundamental thing called clean air and clean water. As governor, I will build more affordable housing, and I will repeal Costa-Hawkins. And as governor, I will not be afraid of the infamous third rail of California politics. We will reform Prop 13 as it applies to commercial industrial properties, and we'll put the money back into education. Budgets are statements of values, and I am ashamed to tell you that California is #1 in the country in per pupil investment, and number 41 in per pupil investment, and #1 in per prisoner expenditure. We must reform the criminal justice system and stop criminalizing poverty, skin color, and mental health conditions. We must invest in our children and families from cradle to career, and that means fully paid maternity and paternity leave, affordable child care, universal preschool, lifting K-12 from the bottom 10 to the top 10 in per pupil funding, and it most definitely means we need to make college tuition free again. It was Shirley Chisholm, the first African-American woman in Congress, who said, "At present, our country needs women's idealism and determination, perhaps more in politics than anywhere else." I am the only candidate who has served in local government, in the state legislature, and as a constitutional officer, where I was the first and only woman elected state superintendent of public instruction, responsible for 40% of the state budget. So I ask for your vote and support for Governor of California. Thank you.